Let's start with the first question here. If f of x is equal to x plus 7 and g of x is equals to 7x, what is the value of 4 times f of 2 minus g of 2? Here, you just need to substitute x as 2 and simplify it. So 4 times, if you are replacing x with the 2 in the f function, what it is going to be? It's going to be 2 plus 7, which is going to be 9. I can write it as 4 times 9 minus. Again, if you substitute the value of x as 2 here, your result turns to be 7 times 2, which is going to be 14. I can say 4 times 9 minus 14. That is 4 times 9 is 36. 36 minus 14, which is equal to 22. So the result of this entire thing is equals to 22, which is option number C. Let's work on question number 2 here. It says, the y-intercept of the graph of y equal to minus 6x minus 32 in the xy plane is 0, comma y. What is the value of y? If you look at to the given equation, this is called equation of a straight line or equation of a line in general. How do you write equation of a line? Which is y equal to mx plus b, where m represents the slope and B is the y-intercept. Y-intercept is the point where the graph of this line crossing y-axis. Suppose graph of this line is representing something like this. So the point where the line is crossing the y-axis, we write it as y-intercept. Okay. So if you look at very carefully, so this itself is the answer. I must say y-intercept for this one is negative 32. This is the answer. If you want to solve it, you can put it as x as 0 and check it up. Y equal to minus 32 you get. That itself is the y-intercept. So hint here is whenever they use the word y-intercept, alternatively, it should come in your mind value of x is 0 over there. Similarly, sometime you might get a question where they're going to talk about find out the x-intercept for the complex equations. In that case, you have to put value of y as 0 and what are the x value or the result you get, that itself is x-intercept, right? So let's move to the next question then. Let's work on question number 3 here. This is basically interpretation of graph. So whenever they give us a graphical questions, recognize what has been given for y-axis and what information has been given for x-axis. It will be clearly stated in the question. It says that the graph of the function f where y equal to fx models the total cost y in dollars for a certain video game system and x games. So meaning x-axis is representing the number of games and y-axis is representing the total cost of those games. What is the best interpretation of the slope of the graph in this context? Now, what is the slope, by the way? Slope is basically rise over run. And always, whenever we are writing y is equals to mx plus b, m is called slope, and slope always talks about the rate of change of y over x. So it will be like, cost per game or like, amount of money per day. They like always we talk about per day, per minute, per time, something kind of. That is the hint what I can recognize for the slope. Question is, what is the slope is representing in this? So first of all, find out what is the slope. How do you find slope? Slope, you can find it in two ways, by using the coordinates, or the best way when it has given is a graph, you can use the slope as rise over run. Okay. So what is rise? What is run? You can take any reference points. Let me talk about this coordinate point from here to here. Rise is basically the amount of increment along the y-axis. So what I can say here, I'm sorry. So this is shows rise is basically amount of increment on the y-axis. This is representing rise, and run is the amount of increment on x-axis. Okay, so this is gonna be run. Now what is the value of rise? From 100 to 200. So rise here is gonna be 100. As I told, you can take any reference point. I'm just taking here, you can take it as this or even bigger, doesn't matter. So run is from 0 to 4. So this is total is 4. So if we put it here, rise is gonna be 100, run is gonna be 4, it's gonna be 25. So slope is representing $25 per game. So I should go with an option which is indicating like $25 per game or $25 each game something. Option A says each game costs $25. Yes, or I can say $25. So makes sense. This is the answer. In case if you have any confusion with this, you can read the other option and clarify. The video game system costs 100. So which is wrong because question asking me about the slope, not about the video game system. Sorry, video game system. So I eliminate this. So video game system, again I eliminate this. Each game cost $100. No, as you say the slope is 25, so each game costs $25. So make sense with this option, which is A. Let's work on question number 4 here. It says y is less than negative 4x plus 4. So let me tell you, most of the questions of SAT math can be solved in multiple ways. I can solve each question in 2 to 3 varieties of types. Here I am just explaining one of. Okay, it doesn't mean that you learned something else. So I can also solve it in that way or this way. Absolutely fine. As long you understood the concept and as long you are getting right answer, absolutely fine. So here is one of the question here where I can solve it manually and also I can take help of a Desmos graphing calculator. It says y is less than negative 4x plus 4, which point x comma y is a solution to the given inequality in the xy plane. By the way, what is the solutions to the inequality or solutions to the system of equations or the lines? Solution is basically a point where the graph of those expression or graph of the functions involves. All right. Or we are talking about system of equations. Solution is the point where the two graphs or multiple graphs cross each other. So I need to check out what is the solution. So one way I can use a Desmos graphing calculator and I try to check it up each coordinate point. Another way I can substitute x and y values here and check for what value of x, y is lesser. Either way is fine. So let me just do it on the Desmos. So we can do it like, little different way rather than doing manually because digital SAT has introduced graphing calculator. So let's make use of it. Just type the way how it has been given. Okay. So y is less than negative. Okay, let me just take it as negative 4x plus 4. It's a graph of inequality is what I can say. All right. So this is what I'm getting here. Now, how do we check whether these points have solution or not? Just type them the way how it has been given. So I can type it as 2 comma minus 1. What I can observe, this point is outside the shaded region. So for a graph to have a solution, the point has to be in the region of the shaded part. If it is outside the region of shaded part, that point has no solution. So that's what we are doing. Second one, let's type 2 comma 1. And what is the graph of it? You can see that you can recognize the color. For the 2 comma negative 1, this is the point. For 2 comma 1, this is the point. Always Desmos gives you in a different color. Next one is 0 comma 0 comma 5. So 0 comma 5 is again outside the region. So definitely in the SAT, if three options are wrong, then definitely fourth must be the answer. Now let's clarify why I'm saying it so. So point, type them as negative 4 comma 0. And what I can observe, the region where this point is lying is in the shaded part of the graph. So definitely any point which are lying on the shaded part regardless of where it is. Okay, I'm not checking about where it is lying, but as long it is under the shaded part, definitely that will be the solutions to the graph of inequality, and all others are outside of that shaded. So this is the right answer, what I can say. Let's work on sample question 5. This will be the last question for today. It says figure A and figure B, which are not shown, are both regular polygons. Regular polygons are the shape with equal length of sides are equal and each angles are equal. The sum of the perimeter of figure A and perimeter of figure B is 63 inches. Now, what do you mean by perimeter? Perimeter is basically add up length of all sides. Okay, if you add the side length, the resulting value we call it as perimeter. Now, the equation 3x plus 6y is equal to 63. As they clearly said, sum of the perimeter of A and B is 63. Equation 3x plus 6y equal to 63 represents this situation where x is the number of sides of figure A and y is the number of sides of figure B. Which statement is best interpretation of 6 in this context? They're asking you what is the meaning of this 6? What is it representing? As you see here, 3 times x. If I say figure A has x number of sides, so total perimeter corresponds to figure A is gonna be 3x and 3 is representing length of each side. Similarly, figure Y has Y number of sides and each side must have a length of 6 inches. So 6 inches multiplied by the number of sides, that gives me the perimeter of figure perimeter of figure B, and together add up to 63. Now question asking you what would be the meaning of the 6? This is basically length of each side, I can say. Length of each side of figure B. So I should look out the option which is talking about the length. Each side of the figure B has a length of 6 inches. Yes, makes sense. That's what I'm looking. So B, this 6 is relating with the length of Y, which is corresponds to figure B. So option A makes sense. Now, what about B? The number of sides of figure B is 6, which is wrong because they clearly said figure B has Y number of sides. Y is the number of sides, which is wrong. Option C says each side of figure A has length of 6 inches. Question is about figure B, nothing to talk about this. And again, the number of sides of figure A is 6, again, which is wrong. So the best choice is option A. All right, so that's it for today. In upcoming videos, I will be discussing the few questions next to this. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that whenever I upload a new videos, you will be notified. All right, all the best. See you then. Bye bye.